I don't look at myself like that. I'm in my head, so I'm looking out, so I'm not seeing me. I'm just seeing what they're doing, and it just annoys me.
Just tell her she won. Tell her she won. But Trump's got all those weird, coming out. I think the guy couldn't get like a bead on him,
I don't want with any luck, they'll both die of natural causes before the election.
Ever seen a comedian turn the tables on a smug interviewer? Bill Burr's not just funny, he's a verbal assassin. In one epic takedown, he left a host stammering after they tried to get political. The interviewer thought they were being clever, but Burr saw right through it. You don't need compliments, he told them. You actually need to be pulled down a little bit. Ouch. Want to see more of Burr's savage comebacks? Picture this, Bill Burr sweating bullets stepping onto a stage in Philadelphia. The crowd's already booing, and he's got 12 minutes to fill. Most comedians would crumble, but not Burr. Instead of backing down, he decides to go nuclear. Burr starts roasting the entire city of Philadelphia. He's not holding back, and the crowd's getting angrier by the second. The terrorists will never bomb you, he shouts, because you're worthless and no one cares about you. But that's just the warm-up. Burr's just getting started. He goes after everything Philly holds dear. Rocky is your hero, the guy who doesn't exist. You got Joe Frazier from here, but he's black, so you can't deal with him. So you make a statue for some 3-foot fucking Italian, you stupid cheese-eating fucking jackasses.
As you were driving, you were cursing at people, at other drivers, and yelling at them from the car. Yes. Do you ever find yourself in a situation where they recognize you after you've yelled at them?
They don't know how to get into a lane. They get 3/4 of their car in, and then their back fender is in the lane, and you beep at them, and then they look at you, and they give you the finger like you're the problem.
Right, yeah.
I don't want, with any luck, they'll both die of natural causes before the election.
The guy is a lunatic. I mean, he literally got shot and immediately jumped back up and started yelling in the direction the bullets were coming from, unarmed.
The crowd's fury is palpable. You can practically feel the hatred through the TV screen. But something unexpected starts to happen. As Burr keeps piling on the insults, a few chuckles start to break through the anger. It's like watching a pressure cooker slowly release steam. Burr's not letting up. He's on a roll now, tearing into the city's sports teams, its people, even its most famous sandwich. You fucking one bridge-having piece of shit city that no one gives a f about, he yells. And surprisingly, more people are laughing than booing now. The air in the room starts to shift. It's like watching a magician pull off an impossible trick. Burr's insults are so over the top, so relentless, that the crowd can't help but appreciate the sheer audacity of it all. They're starting to respect his commitment to the bit. As Burr reaches the end of his set, something magical happens. The same crowd that was ready to tear him apart when he stepped on stage is now cheering. He's won them over with nothing but insults and raw comedic talent. Burr walks off stage a legend, with the Philly crowd giving him a standing ovation. After conquering Philly, Bill Burr faced a new challenger, Bryan Callen, a guy who thought he was Muhammad Ali reincarnated. Callen, hosting his Fighter and the Kid podcast, decided to flex his ego muscles in front of the comedy heavyweight. Big mistake. The podcast started innocently enough, with Callen boasting about a photo that supposedly showcased his athletic prowess.
I think once you start calling somebody like that whole, oh my God, is that the guy from that show, is out the window. And you just want to win the argument. Maybe when they drive away, they're like, hey, isn't that guy from Comedy Central? I don't know what I'm going to do like that day. I'm just going to be totally honest.
Are you?
I'm just going to be, look, I got caught up in the lie that you're supposed to say as a parent. It's stupid.
Just tell her she won. Tell her she won. But Trump's got all those weird, coming out. I think the guy couldn't get like a bead on him, I'll be honest with you. I can't believe Trump didn't win this thing like 4 months ago, I know that's weird for younger people to hear, but like when I was a kid, if you were running for president and you got shot and you didn't die, that was the end of the election.
That's me with all my fast twitch muscle jumping in the air and throwing my groin at Brennan. He bragged, but Burr wasn't about to let that slide. Listen, you're one of those guys, you don't need compliments. You actually need to be pulled down a little bit to be tethered. Burr shot back, and just like that, the comedy gloves came off. Callen, not realizing he was already in deep water, kept swimming towards the shark. He started talking up his boxing skills, probably thinking it'd impress Burr. Instead, it just gave Bill more ammo. "You box? What, you punch your reflection in the mirror?" Burr quipped, leaving Callen scrambling for a comeback. But Burr was just getting warmed up. He started dissecting Callen's tough guy act like a comedy surgeon. 90% of the time you talk to Brian, he sounds like a fighter selling an upcoming pay-per-view, and all he's doing is talking about himself, Burr observed. The podcast co-host couldn't contain himself, laughing at Burr's relentless jabs. Callen tried to recover, but it was like watching a guy bring a plastic spoon to a gunfight. Every time he opened his mouth, Burr was there with another verbal uppercut. The comedian's quick wit was on full display, turning Callen's attempts to one-up him into comedic gold. As the exchange went on, it became clear that Callen was way out of his league. His humble brags were falling flat, and Burr was exposing them for what they were, desperate attempts to seem tough. The more Callen tried to build himself up, the more Burr tore him down. Finally, Burr delivered the knockout punch that left Callen's ego down for the count. "You're Allie without Frazier, just talking about how awesome you are," he said.
I don't look at myself like that. I'm in my head, so I'm looking out, so I'm not seeing me. I'm just seeing what they're doing, and it just annoys me. I can't believe, like, these are honestly going to be our two choices, because I really try to, with each thing, to try to be like, figure out who I'm going to put. I mean, it's got to be, I want somebody in their 40s, somebody that's going to have to live with their decisions. Chris Angel is doing everything that Jesus did, other than pulling the fish out. He's walking on water, too. You know?
That's not a sane human being. I would have been on the ground crying in the fetal position, like, all right, give me the truck. I don't want this job anymore.
In one line, Burr had summed up everything wrong with Callen's self-aggrandizing behavior. It was a masterclass in putting an overconfident guy in his place. So what's Bill Burr's secret weapon? It's not his quick wit or his razor-sharp comebacks. Nope, it's something way simpler. He just doesn't give a damn what you think. That's right, folks. Burr's got this magical ability to brush off criticism like it's nothing. And when it comes to dealing with jerks, he's got some solid advice for us mere mortals. In true Burr fashion, he cuts through the BS and lays it out plain and simple. Just be honest. It's way easier than lying. Can you imagine how many awkward situations we could avoid if we all took that to heart? No more fumbling for excuses or trying to remember which lie you told to who. Just straight up honesty served ice cold. But here's the kicker, and consider this your final warning. If you can't take a joke, don't dish one out. It's like Burr's unspoken rule of comedy warfare. You want to play? Better be ready for some return fire. And trust me, when it comes to Burr, you're bringing a rubber band to a gunfight.